Welcome to our webinar on the report scheduler add-on. This is the next in series of the webinars that we have been conducting on the various add-on solutions that Soluzione is bringing on for Dynamics 365 users. Today I have with me Nikhil. He will be actually conducting the session, followed by a demonstration and probably open to your questions. So I just briefly, I'm taking you through the agenda. So we'll talk about those features. As I told, we will do a demo. We will look at some benefits as to why certain features, what kind of benefits they bring into different kinds of users. Nikhil is also going to talk about the upcoming features. So without much ado, I just wanted to briefly touch upon, a little bit about Soluzione as usual. As to, we have been in the business since 2011, essentially supporting customers using Microsoft Dynamics, Power Platform, and other open source technologies. We have solutions across finance, education. We have got solutions for the insurance industries, and over 200 successful projects where we have implemented Dynamics 365. And it is out of these very learnings that we have gained out of those implementations that have built some productivity add-ons, which we are talking about. We also produce a lot of media for the content that you see. We have a dedicated video editing agency, as well as we provide digital marketing services, right from website development, content, SEO, SMO, etc. So I would encourage you to visit our website and know more about us. But without much ado, I would want to take this meeting a little forward. About the speaker, those who have attended earlier, fine, they might know about Nikhil, but he has been the co-founder of Soluzione and been with the team since 2015. Before that, he was with Microsoft around the Dynamics as a specialist Dynamics. So without much ado, I'll hand over the stage to Nikhil. Nikhil, please go ahead. I think you can take it from here, and I hope we have a wonderful session. As I told you, you are encouraged to ask questions, whatever you might have. Over to you, Nikhil. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Saurav. Thank you very much. Without the delay, let's talk about why we are here. What happens is typically this is the exact challenge that we are trying to discuss today. So the first and foremost is there is no out-of-the-box support or capability of scheduling a report out of Dynamics CRM. There was a roundabout way when it was an on-premise system using SSRS scheduling, but right now you would typically need to look at certain development activities like a workflow or a Power Automate flow, and then generating reports and sending. So every time you want to generate or send a new report to a customer or to an internal person, it typically involves a decent amount of development effort. So there is clearly a lack of this feature within the out-of-the-box CRM platform. Second is, and that brings us to user dependency. So some person in the organization needs to be dedicated for sending out these reports, and it is and if they are on a PTO or they are on a sick leave or something, things can get missed out, and so it becomes a lot of user dependent. For example, I have a customer, they are into non-profit, and due to certain legal requirements, they had to send I checked with them 8 months back. So they had to send around 300 plus reports every month to maybe all their sponsors who are people who actually do the funding. And that's a very challenging environment, right? So they need to dedicate 1 or 2 people dedicatedly just for generating reports from CRM. And what happens is that's a very, very manual process. So even if you dedicate a particular person, that person would typically need to go into a particular account record, opportunity record, or whatever XYZ record, manually select, execute the report, download it in PDF or Word or Excel, whichever format, draft out an email and send that email. So typically 3-4 steps. First, select the set of records. Second step, generate the report, export the report, and then draft an email and send it, right? So it's even for those people who are identified, it's a very, very manual effort. And that brings us to the challenge of scalability. So when we are talking about like 300 reports a month and maybe 400 reports a month, then that becomes a very challenging situation for any enterprise. And I think that's why we are here. So we are looking at report scheduler, which actually intends to solve all of these problems. So first and foremost, it brings you the automation. It brings you the capabilities where you can actually schedule the reports, and it can execute it on predefined schedules and deliver it automatically. So it brings that automation on top of Dynamic CRM without any third-party tools or technologies, all within the Dynamic CRM and Power Automate umbrella. Right. So it builds on top. It's like it abstracts out all the complexities and gives you a very simple, repeatable solution. Second is the delivery piece. You can deliver the reports as an attachment in the email, or you can also upload it to a SharePoint site or maybe Azure Blob storage if that is the requirement. And you can do it in a Word format, PDF format, or an Excel format. So that takes care of the exporting or delivery piece of it. It supports both CRM reports that comes out of the box, or if your developers have created any custom reports using SSRS or data tools and publish them into Dynamic CRM. So it supports both the kind of reports, standard reports and custom reports. From a scalability perspective, I already spoke about a customer, but we have internally tested it for sending out more than 100 reports a day. Obviously, there are a lot of factors like what is the report complexity, size, how much time it takes, but a decent normal average report, we have tested it up till 100. And like I said, the customer who is heavily using it, we haven't faced any problem sending out 300 reports a month. It is user friendly. Yeah. So while we are talking about all of this, it takes away all of the complexity, and a user has to be as technical as at max that they need to know how to run advanced find. That's the max level of technicality that is needed. So if you are a Dynamic CRM business user, you are good to go. And security. So we know that all the environments today has MFA enabled, multi-factor authentication enabled. So this solution works on a multi-factor authentication enabled environment as well. Let's directly jump to a demo. Let's look at the first scenario. So the scenario is maybe around an opportunity entity, and we wanted to show two things here, that it works out on any CRM entity as well as any custom entity. Right. So this scenario is for opportunity entity. And let's say the sales manager or the sales team within the organization wants to get a report every end of the month where I want to see how my sales team is performing, maybe the velocity of the opportunity or the estimated revenue, and they want it delivered every end of the month. So that's scenario one. All right. I hope you guys are able to see my screen with the Dynamic CRM user interface. Once you install the solution, you get an app called as Report Scheduler. Okay. And you get a menu called as Schedule Reports and Configuration. Configuration is a one-time configuration that you need to do where you give access and configuration information or master data information here. Once you have done that, you can come here and schedule the report. So this becomes like a centralized report scheduling and delivery management across your Dynamic instance. So we'll go through the demos, but I'll just show you how do you typically create. You would create a new report. Okay. You will give the report a name. Maybe I would say demo 5. Account updates. Okay. So maybe I want this to run on account entity. You select an entity from here. The moment you select an entity, all the reports that are available on that particular entity are available to you. So as you can see, certain out of the box like account summary or account overview available to you, which are default CRM reports, but there can be other custom reports as well. So the moment I select a particular report, the report's default filter automatically comes in here. I can select which format I want, PDF, Excel, or Word. Okay. And here are my input parameters to the report. So if it is account, I can say this is equal to, if I want to send it to a particular account. Okay. And as you can see, the report filter gets updated. So I can make it, I can say that generate this, if let's assume you have a customer who specifically says that every month end I need a particular report. You could do that. You can say, okay, Acro has requested a particular account summary or account engagement report at the end of the month. So you say this report will be for Acro account. So maybe I would name this report something like this. Okay, it could be generic, but it could be specific also. Then you go to the delivery details. What is my delivery method? It is email, SharePoint, or Azure Blob. You give a file name pattern. If it is SharePoint, then you would need to give the SharePoint location. If it is Azure Blob storage, we need to give Azure Blob storage. Sender type, how do you want to send it? This email notification goes from a queue or from a user. Okay. Email subject, email body. Maybe I'll explain this when I open the actual demo with the data. And here would be the scheduling details on what is my scheduling frequency, what is my start date, so on and so forth. So start date, I give a start date. Then I say, okay, this report needs to run daily, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. Okay, any specific time that I'm talking about, what time of the day, maybe I want, typically we suggest scheduling the reports earlier in the day or later in the day, just so that the load is much lower on your CRM instance. Okay, so you can do that. You can set alert preferences that whenever a report is delivered or executed, I want all the alerts, or I want alerts only on failure, or I don't want any alerts at all. And when the report is scheduled and run, then next schedule date gets automatically populated, and also the previous run date for this report gets populated. So now let's look at our scenario where it was estimated revenue report, which was supposed to be sent to the sales manager for the entire year. Okay, so this is opportunity. Like I said, this is an opportunity summary report, and now we saw here that the filter was account, and that is why I was seeing all accounts in my system. But here the filter is a date. Now, as you can see, there are, again, this is an enhancement and a value add, because you don't get this in Dynamic CRM standard reporting, but we can define the same advanced filters here, like last 7 days, last 15 days, last X years or X months, that the date would come in. And updating this typically updates the filters on the report. Okay, and the status is again a different data type, so you can select status is active. Okay, when I come to delivery tab, so the delivery method was email, and normally if you have used CRM reports and generated, and when you download it in PDF, it normally comes with a random GUID or something, or a one single name, always of that report name. But I want to give a pattern to my report name saying opportunity, month, and year, so that I know that this report was generated on which month and which year, right? So you have the flexibility. We call it as smart tags. You can give certain smart tags, predefined smart tags, so you know which this report was run on which month or which point in time. We have used a queue to deliver. This is our internal test queue. Okay, there are 3 options or 4 options on what you can do. You can send it to internal users, or you can select a particular team. Okay, you can add an existing team. So let's say if there was a leadership or a sales management team, you could do that, and the report will be delivered to all the users within that particular team. Or if this was a previous report where a particular acro account wanted that report at the end of the one, I would go ahead and add a particular contacts of that particular account so that they would receive the report. So these are my receivers. I can have all three, or I can have individual people. Okay. And here is a default template. There is a subject and there is a mail body to it. Okay. In the scheduling part, like I said, we just scheduled this report today, and it's a weekly report. I have given, let's say, 10 p.m. on the time. And once we are all good to go, then we can hit this ready to be scheduled. Hitting this ready for schedule changes the status here. And it is ready to be scheduled. Now my scheduler will actually pick it up whenever the schedule run comes at 10 p.m. in the night. Okay. But for the demo, we cannot wait for at least another 2 hours. So I would just run this on demand to show how it works. For running it on demand, I'm just invoking a particular flow. Okay. In the meantime, this loads. Maybe give it a little bit of time. Let me also share with you the second scenario, and maybe we'll test both the scenarios together. So the second scenario is on a different entity. So it's a very custom entity called as employee salary slip. Typically, I want employees to get their salary notifications and slip with the disbursed salary, their paydays and whatever to all the internal employees. Here we would see a different scenario. So in the flow, there is a flow called as report scheduler. This is still the first report estimated revenue. And to give a demo, I am just running it on default. Ideally, this runs based on the schedule details that has been provided here. Okay. Now it was run, my local time right now is almost 7:55 p.m. So it was last run at 6:02 p.m. When it runs successfully, this gets updated, and even the schedule time, previous run date, everything comes in. So I'm going to refresh this report, go to the schedule date, and as you can see that the previous run was on 24/9, which is today, and the next run, because it's a weekly schedule, is on 1st of October. So this report will next run on 1st of October at 10 p.m. All right. So this is that email which is regarding that report. It has gone to Sonika because we added it. It's from notification. It has the same email message, if you guys remember, and it has this opportunity 09/2025, which was our MMYYY format. I could review the report, and it has that entire opportunity summary and the details for last 1 year that is there. And this was our report where it was going to PS and CRM report scheduler notification. That's our report. So that was our scenario 1. Scenario 2 is a little advanced level scenario. Now, because here, like I said, the scenario is we are trying to send salary slips to all employees, or maybe you have set of accounts who need this report. So one way is you create multiple instances of the report, let's say Acro 1 or Fabricam, and for each instance you give a contact person, or you can also make it dynamic. By dynamic, what we mean is we flip this flag called as fetch XML, and this is where I said the person needs to go as much as technically from my advanced find. So here what I have done is I want to run this report for all the employees based on this fetch XML. Okay, basically who are active and who are in the system. So that's my criteria, that I don't want to run this report for a single record, which was a particular account. I want to run this for all the employees. Okay. And what I'm saying is, instead of hard coding my parameter here, I want you to take the employee ID from here and pass it to this report's employee parameter. So it's a big enhancement where your entire report can become suddenly dynamic, and it can support number of records for that same record, report criteria. Okay. Status, because I'm not getting from, it is not dynamic, it's all active. Is settled, is salary is settled, yes. And the month start date is last month, because I want to send the salary slips for last month. Okay. So this is the scenario. If I come to delivery details, now let's take a scenario. If it is running for every employee, or let's assume in a scenario if it's running for multiple accounts, I want to make sure that employee A receives their salary certificate, not employees B's. Similarly, account A receives their customer engagement report and not account B. But here, how do we designate that? So that configuration we can do on delivery, where we say that we want to send individual emails, and the email attribute from my fetch XML is either an employee ID or a contact ID or a primary contact ID or an account ID. So this also becomes dynamic, which is to say employee A receives their salary slip, employee B receives their salary slip. Similarly, account A receives their engagement summary, account B receives their engagement summary, right? So this is how this report can become dynamic. Rest of the things remain the same. It says salary slip for last month, dear employee, this is the salary slip for last month. In the scheduling details, it's almost the same. All right. As you can see, if I look at modified on, there are 3 salary slips for last month generated. One is for employee Ajay, one is for employee Dal, and one is from employee Muhammad Sohail. So individual emails, because of our attribute, has gone up. If I open up, let's say, an email for Ajay, hopefully and legally he would have received his employee payslip. So this is the message. And if we go and look at the payslip, this good. So Ajay has received it for, I hope you see it, but Ajay has received it for Ajay. And let's open another mail for Dal Pratap. Oh, this will open. So as you can see, for Dal Pratap, it's Dal Pratap's salary slip. All right. Obviously, this is all dummy data, but the idea or the notion is it can become dynamic. The report can become dynamic. You can actually, for different, if you want to execute it for like your golden accounts or top tier accounts, and say, send them every month what are the activity reports that our team has conducted with them. So each account at the end of every month can receive their individual activity or engagement report accordingly using the report scheduler. Maybe there is a last scenario which is not there, but I wanted to share, which is upload the report to SharePoint. I'm using a similar report here. Okay, it is opportunity summary report. The only difference here would be, instead of email, we are uploading it to a particular SharePoint site. We need to give the SharePoint location. In the configuration section, we need to give the authentication credentials for SharePoint. And we have the SharePoint site here, which is the report schedule, where we do not have any reports. So apart from that, none of the tabs, no differences. It works exactly the same way. Here you don't need to give any sender because the delivery method is SharePoint. Let's go to the schedule, give it a refresh. Last it was run at 6:12 p.m. So normally it gives time, all runs in UTC, because otherwise the time zones are very different. And now it has run at going to 8:04 p.m. UTC. So it just runs successfully. So this gives you the run history. And if there are errors, it'll, instead of success, this would say error and then give you an error message. As you can see, the document is uploaded here, and I think it was given as a Word document instead of a PDF. So it would have generated the same thing in the Word document and not in a PDF format. So these are the three scenarios that I wanted to showcase today. If you have any questions, maybe we can take it up at the end if you want. So what are the key benefits? Saves time instantly. If you already have reports that your developers or you have created in Dynamics CRM and you want a solution to send it to your customers or internal team, you install it, configure it, and on the very same day you are good to go. You take out the entire complexity. As we saw, there is no development, there is no Power Automates, there is no nothing that you need to develop, obviously apart from the report. So you can come in here, simply schedule the report, and everything is taken care of. There are multiple delivery options. Some people would want to maybe external reports would be delivered via email to people as an attachment. Internal reports might go into your SharePoint document library or your Azure Blob storage, and they might receive, and you can go in the link of the email and check it out. Finally, report distribution option, you can send it to user, you can send it to teams, you can send it to contact, or using that dynamic send individual report, you can dynamically tell based on the fetch XML whom do you want to send it to. So it's a very dynamic report. And FIS, Futures Insight Private Limited, is what I wanted to, I was sharing the use case where these are sending more than 300 reports per month right now using our add-on as of today. And two upcoming features, what you can expect next. So compressed and secured files. So when we are sending a report as an attachment or uploading it to SharePoint, and we want that it is secured and accessible by authorized people. So apart from your role-based or things, we are also looking at enabling zipping the file and password protecting the zip file. So that's one of the options that we are looking at. It's one of the requested features from our customers as well. Second is advanced scheduling configurations such as business closures. So what happens if a third Sunday of the month or whatever date you are specifying, let's say the next week is a public holiday or comes over a weekend. What do we want to do? Do we want to skip that report on that day, or do we want to schedule on the next working day? How do we want to do that? So to handle business closures and weekend, we are looking at giving an advanced scheduling configuration. And finally, something called as report grouping or report set, where if I want to send to a particular customer or internal teams a set of reports in a single email or a single SharePoint drive, how do I do it? Right now, you can do it, but you will receive 3 emails because these are 3 different reports. So we are looking at report grouping, where multiple reports can be delivered as once in a single email as an attachments or uploaded to SharePoint or blob storage, right? So that is a report grouping feature that's upcoming. I think there are other valuable add-ons. We have done certain webinars before. I think HTML email editor is one of them, where it allows you to generate a WYSIWYG editor email templates on standard and custom entities, allows you to use related entities as well. SharePoint metadata, a lot of our customers are using it, allows you to associate metadata with documents that are being uploaded from Dynamics CRM into SharePoint. Then it is activity timeline. So instead of the default Dynamics CRM timeline, a much more interactive and customized activity timeline is what we are looking at. Kanban board. A Kanban board that can work on any entity has a lot larger configuration options, makes it much user friendly, highlights records that need attention. is available again on Dynamic CRM or Power Platform. Auto counter, highly customizable auto counter when the out of the box functionality does not meet your requirement. Then financial connectors with systems like MYOB, QuickBooks, Xero is what we have under our accounting connectors or financial connectors. And finally, a notification engine where if a generic framework to send out email notifications on various events like when a lead is created or an opportunity is assigned. So instead of writing individual workflows or Power Automate flows, a generic framework for sending out notifications. So I think that's about it. I've been talking. So if there are any questions, I think I am more than happy to take it. All right. So thank you again. Thank you everyone for joining the call.
Thank you, Nikhil. Please do get in touch with us if you have any questions on this particular add-on or any other add-on. I would encourage you to go and visit our site as well.